All right, so for the past couple of days now, I think a video has gone viral of Amanda Sternberg responding to the cancellation of the Acolyte as other cast members have responded. And something that I've noticed regarding how the cast responded, when it came to the male cast, they did it in a very classical fashion. I think Lee John Jay had praises for Leslie Headland as expected, as you would do, even if what you were starring in was bad, even if your former bosses were bad. You don't, berate them when you're actually trying to get another job with somebody else, right? You actually always have to talk good about them. So I thought that was classic of him. When it came to Manny Jacinto simply posted this photo of the Acolyte, the last scene of the Acolyte, and that was it pretty much. But when it came to the women, on the other hand, it was a totally different story. Blaming the fans as they always do. Can the best of Star Wars survive the worst of its fans? This was by Rebecca Henderson, the wife of Leslie Headland, former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein. And when it comes to Amanda Sternberg, I need to pronounce her name properly. Amanda, I think, because she's very particular about how people pronounce her name. Because when it comes to these people, what's more important to them is they need to be given accolades and awards and love and praise that they are studying and brave simply because of the color of their skin, not the content of their character, but the color of their skin, what's in between their leg, who they choose to sleep with, and so on and so forth. The Infinity Stones of Wokeness. So she's out here talking the exact same way that we expected her to talk, say the same things that she wanted to say. So I'm not going to be responding to the video because it's 8.5 minutes long. I mean, the last person that I saw try to respond to that was Star Wars Theory, and it took him 30 minutes to do that. So I want to do a quicker video and a quicker response because essentially she basically just says two things in that particular video that is worth mentioning. So let's dive right into this transcript from The Hollywood Reporter about what she said. I'm going to share my opinion as we go along. Feel free to share your opinion in our comment section below. And don't forget to smash the like button on this video and consider subscribing as well if you get any value from this particular video. I would sincerely appreciate it very, very much so. So without further ado, let's dive right in now, shall we? Now, she does say this. She says, I'm going to be really transparent and say that it is not a huge shock for me. Sternberg told her fans of the show's cancellation after one season. Of course, I live in a bubble of my own reality, which is quite funny to me. You do live in a bubble of your own reality. However, you try to dive into topics that you actually have no idea about. If you live in a bubble of your own reality, then how do you know that white people are oppressors to black people? Because you're not living it. Your father is white. You're not experiencing the so-called black experience. For many of these people, they think that black people need to be a certain way. So they over-hyperlize the blackness of their own identity because they think that's the only way that they can be accepted because she's only half black. She's only half black. To say that she's black means that you're actually giving in to the idea of the one drop rule, which is a white supremacist ideology, which is what they are all living by now. So-called progressives are living by and swearing by and fighting by a white supremacist ideology, the one drop rule. Remember that. But in any case, you guys, she goes on to say, but for those of you who weren't aware, there has been a rampage of vitriol that we have faced since the show was even announced, when it was still just a concept. No one had even seen it. Well, yes, the reason why you were facing backlash, not vitriol, backlash or pushback, is simply because of the marketing of the show. I mean, you have articles like this. This was part of the marketing, celebrating diversity and representation. The Acolyte poised to deliver the LGBTQ plus Star Wars story fans have been longing for. Seriously, these people are so desperate to be seen. They are so desperate that they self-insert their own stories themselves, what they identify as. They focus on things that are intangible that people don't really care about. People don't care. Whoever you want to sleep with, nobody cares about that. Or whatever you want to do with yourself, however you want to identify, nobody really cares about those sort of things. What people really care about is, are you a good person or are you not? The content of your character. That's how people are being judged in today's world. And when it comes to these shows, these things need to be important. The character development needs to be important. The script needs to be good. The dialogue needs to be on point. The show needs to be entertaining. It has to have escapism in it. things that people want to see, things that people want to experience. People don't want to experience this politics of the real world when they go and see a show. They want to escape from the real world, but you are presenting them with the real world because according to them, we need to do this for modern audiences who want to feel seen in shows before they can actually relate with people. And those people are far and few between. They are not that many. Hence why you didn't get any viewership, and hence why you are getting a lot of backlash. Now, to add to the fact that their marketing was poor, they still went on to attack the fans even before the show was even released, saying racist Star Wars fans can't handle the Acolyte creator speaking the truth. Now, the truth she's speaking is we don't want any sexist bigot fans. They are not Star Wars fans if they are racist, whatever. And essentially saying if you don't like my show, if you're already criticizing my show, you're a racist, bigot, vitriolic, sexist, whatever they want to call them, all those buzzwords. And these things are what fans reacted against. And so you're now speaking and saying that you are receiving a lot of vitriol. No, you are receiving a lot of constructive criticisms. These are poor marketing strategies for any show. Even if your show was going to be good and you marketed it this way, nobody's going to want to watch your show. Umbrella Academy is kind of woke. Umbrella Academy has a lot of woke elements in it. Umbrella Academy has a lot of diversity, inclusivity in it, but they never marketed it as that. They wanted you to feel the storyline, hence why a lot of people like it. I mean, I think it got about 68 or 70% favorability on Rotten Tomatoes, and people liked it. It's based upon your marketing, but your marketing already told us that you're pushing a political agenda, hence why people did not like it. To top that off, you have Amanda Sternberg saying that they are trying to create a safe space for Black people. Amanda Sternberg on how the Acolyte has made its sci-fi safe for Black nerds.
Fantasy and sci-fi in general, it hasn't felt like a safe space always for people of color.
So essentially, your narcissistic son of a biscuit brain is telling you that you are the one who's creating a safe space for Black people, when Black people have always loved Star Wars from day one, have always related to it because it has the great storylines and everything that any normal human being, without looking at color of your skin, without looking at the, who you want to sleep with and all these other things, what you identify as, relate to it. Take a look at this, for instance. Shout out to Midnight Edge for finding this 40-year-old video.
All I got to say, the Jedi have returned.
We're just fanatics out here waiting on Return of the Jedi. 3 years in the making. We're waiting on this.
Some people don't idolize Darth Vader like I do. See,
yeah.
I want him to get loose.
It's a universe that we can't live in. So we go to see these movies. Somehow you can...
You see what he said? He said, these are worlds that we can't live in, so we go to see this movie. Escapism. This was what people were all after until these people, these so-called progressives, brought in the idea that, oh, Black people don't have safe spaces. The idea of a safe space for any race is a racist ideology. Once again, it's an idea of segregation. It's a Jim Crow law ideology that these people are buying into. You see how the white supremacists come back in a totally different fashion? This is what it is all about for these people. All of these things that they are pushing is all of the things that people of the past have fought against to bring down. Not just Black people, but white people across the board have fought to bring it down. However, these progressives are fighting to bring it back. You can see all of these people, they could relate to it. It didn't matter what race they were. This person is probably maybe Hispanic or something, Black people and so on and so forth. Check it out.
Enjoy it.
I guess Darth Vader will die. I'm not sure. I hope he doesn't. I love his black.
Look at that. Look at that.
Biggest surprise was to see all of them together at the end playing pinochle and having a great time. I wished I was there, and I'm going to try to get a part of this movie myself.
This has left me practically utterly speechless, actually, but it was the best one ever.
The biggest surprise? Well, I don't want to give it away to anybody.
Do you think it was worth coming to this late at night?
Yeah.
So, do you think that in today's day and age, you would be able to bring your child to go see Star Wars with all the politics that they're pushing today? Like, seriously, most people will say no, because they don't want to start explaining pronouns to their children. I mean, it's just practically insane, and all those sort of things that they're trying to market. But then she goes on to talk a little bit more on the attack. She said, okay, so after saying that, even after no one had ever seen it, she then goes on to say, that's when we started experiencing a rampage of what I would say hyper-conservative, bigotry, and vitriol. prejudice, hatred, and hateful language towards us. And she also said they were experiencing it from the alt-right. These are all political terms that is showing that she is pushing a political rhetoric. She's not talking about Star Wars anymore. It doesn't have anything to do with Star Wars or whatnot. It is more of a political ploy, which sounds like most of these political campaigns that you hear from a certain party that calls half of the country deplorables in the US. So essentially, this is why she made this video. This is why it took her about a week and a couple of days to make this video, because probably somebody has greased her palm, like we know that they're greasing a lot of people who are online spam to actually say positive stuffs about a certain person that is running for a presidential candidate in the US, which is what all of this is about, essentially. But when it comes to the Acolyte itself, no matter what they try to tell you, the reality of it is that people do not care about the things that they are trying to push out there. The politics that they are trying to push, trying to claim that, you know, they are bringing inclusivity, diversity. No one gives a rat's ass about that, because that doesn't tell me what kind of a person that you are. What really matters to people is actually your personality, your character. Contents of your character is how you're being judged, not the color of your skin, not what's in between your leg, not who you decide to sleep with, or not whatever it is that you identify as. Are you a good person or are you not? And this is what Star Wars stood for from day one. It is what it is, and if you try to change it, you will get cancelled, and that's where it is at. That's why you are failing, and it's never going to change. Good will always triumph over evil. The Jedis stand for good, the Sith stands for evil, and the Jedis will always triumph over the Sith. Case closed. Thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. Hope you guys got something out of this. If you did, feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, ding that bell for notification, and I'll catch you guys on the very next one. Take care, peace, and signs out. Bye-bye now.